Now, this next video is going to be based around keyword research and hopefully enlighten some of you in terms of the various different ways and strategies that you can do your keyword research effectively. Simply put, there's more than one way of achieving your research for finding good keywords. Now, before I continue with this video, just want to make sure that you've been over to my YouTube channel. Before you start watching this keyword research video, I highly recommend watching the first video I've created, which is just a general overview and an introduction to SEO. So hopefully you've watched this video already. Now, to get back to keyword research, to do this next part of the process, which I'm about to show you in this video, there's two tools you're going to need. First one's going to be the actual software, which I use for keyword research. It's a tool called Micro Niche Finder. It's the only one that I recommend. And if you go to this page, Sick SEO, keywordresearch.html, you can click through on here. This will take you through to Micro Niche Finder's website. We'll actually have an email list which you can sign up to. Once you give them the email address, they'll start sending you their training videos, which will get you up and running, probably the quickest way with this software. The second thing you're going to need, I've got advertised down here at the bottom of my page, is another tool called Hide My Ass, which is a great name, I tell you, for the VPN. But basically what this does, it provides you with a huge amount of IP addresses. Now, when you're using a tool such as Micro Niche Finder and various other SEO tools, when you're trying to extract data from Google server or any of these other search engines for that matter, depending on your tool that you use, you're going to need to be able to rotate or change your IP address very, very quickly. Certainly, this is very, very true of this keyword tool here. When I do my keyword analysis, as you'll see in a moment, I like to research, tens, 20s, even hundreds of keywords at a time. Now, without a tool like Hide My Ass, without being able to change your IP address, you're not going to be able to do keyword research effectively on hundreds of keywords, certainly not within the same day. Simply because after your third or fourth request with your existing IP, which is what your computer will have just being connected to the internet, after your third or fourth request to the Google server, you'll find that your IP is then blocked and temporarily banned. Now, to avoid this happening, I've also put some extra information here about how to prevent your IP being banned. But basically, if you invest in this tool as well, not only is it going to help you with your keyword research, but it's going to help you to use all of your other tools such as SEO UKX, some of my other tools, Article Demon, Bookmarking Demon. These are all SEO tools that submit content on the internet. So you're going to need to be able to change your IP address quite frequently. So this is definitely a tool I recommend investing in. Okay, so to start off, when you're here on this page, definitely have a read through all of this. There's some good tips on this page. In terms of how to do your keyword research, as well as avoiding some of these common mistakes, which a lot of people do. So have a read through here. Now, to get cracking with the actual software, I'm just going to go straight to Micro Niche Finder now. Now, the first thing we're going to do is decide where we actually want to position ourselves on the internet. Now, this will depend largely on the product, service that you're actually offering as part of your business. I should imagine you'll either have your existing business already, but you don't have your own website supporting that business. Alternatively, maybe you're a newbie and you're looking to set up your first website and haven't got a clue where to start. Now, really, depending on your existing position, if you already have an existing business, then clearly, depending on the nature of your business, in here, this is where you want to be typing in very general terms that are related to your business. For example, if you have a furniture business and you specialize in children's desks, bunk beds, children's tables, then all of those different products you want to be typing into this search box. Alternatively, if you're looking to set up, say, maybe your first affiliate site, and you're looking to promote, say, a ClickBank product, for example, or a particular product on Amazon, then again, the terms that are related to the actual product, this is what you want to be searching in here initially. You also want to be making sure that the language matches your target market, and also you want to make sure that the country as well matches your target market. I personally always focus on a particular country to start with. Certainly from speaking with others and sharing information with others, I understand there's a lot of people out there that try and target the world, and certainly what they do, they use this method to research their keywords. Nothing really wrong with that. It's just too general to really try and target the world and achieve number one, all over the world for a particular keyword. It's quite a challenge in itself. What I find a lot easier is to start off in one particular country or one region, research for data in that particular region, and you'll certainly find from there you'll be able to build your business and start targeting other countries once you've established yourself within a particular region. So just for the sake of this example, I'm going to stick with English. I'm going to stick with UK, simply because those are the regions that a lot of my business is already in, and I'm familiar with the UK market. This box I'm going to keep ticked. Only show ideas containing my search terms. Basically what this is going to ensure is that the software is only going to retrieve keywords from the Google database that are related to the actual term I'm going to type in here. So just to start with initially, I'm just going to choose quite a random niche or a random category. Now if you're looking for starting points, really what I suggest you do is establish a product or an offer or a service that you know that you'll be able to monetize, either with an existing product you have, or through maybe ClickBank, Commission Junction, or many of these other affiliate networks that are available. And ideally you want to first identify a product that you are going to build a website around, and that you're going to try and get target traffic for. So I'm just going to choose a category which I used to have a business in, which is furniture. Make sure that's spelled correctly. Okay, then you just click search. Now what this is going to do is going to access the Google keyword tool, which is actually a free tool, free database that everyone's allowed to have access to. Now obviously you could go directly to the Google keyword tool and try and do all of this process manually, keyword research, so on. It's obviously it's one way of doing it, and a lot of people do still do it that way. But if you want to be analyzing, a few hundred keywords at a time, and you want to be analyzing a competition of those keywords at the same time as well, then doing this manually, it's going to take a long time. It's going to take days and days. Whereas using this software, and you can see my IP address is already rotating in the background there, using this ProVPN from Hide My Ass, using these two in conjunction with each other, the research which would normally take days, potentially it's going to take a few hours. Okay, this one's nearly done. You can see it's just pulling back the results now from Google's database. Nearly done. All right, and remember, this is just the first phase of research, because what we've done so far, we've just typed in a one-word phrase initially, furniture. Now, generally speaking, from an SEO point of view, keywords that only have one-word phrases in them, they're generally the most competitive, the most difficult to reach number one for. Now, as the number of words in a phrase increase, generally speaking, again, the competition for those keywords decrease as well. Simply because, furniture being a one-word phrase, it's quite easy to locate that keyword. But when you start digging and digging and digging, which I'm going to show you in this video, you'll start to find keywords that are either 3 words or 4 words in length or even longer. And the longer the phrases are, generally speaking, that's where the keywords are very easy to rank number one for, simply because there's less competition and there's less people out there that are aware of that actual keyword existing. Okay, so these are the initial results. You can see here it says 801 exact results of furniture. So these are basically the top 800, or 801 rather, relevant and highest searched keywords according to Google's database that all contain the word furniture in them. And if I just scroll down this list, you can see hopefully that the word furniture is highlighted in dark blue, and there's quite a few different keywords in here. Now, initially what I like to do, once I've just sort of analysed just the furniture market, first thing I do, I sort out this column, the local search count column, just to make sure I've got the highest figures at the top. Now, the figures that you see here, these local search counts, at the moment I've got the exact option selected, which is why the exact here is highlighted in black. And what this basically means is, for example, this first keyword phrase here, garden furniture, according to Google, this means that on a monthly basis, or certainly for the last month, there were 90,500 people in a single month that were searching for the exact keyword phrase garden furniture. Yeah. Now, if you achieve a number one ranking for this exact keyword phrase in Google, and this is Google UK because obviously I've searched the UK region, then with a number one ranking, you'll expect to receive approximately 50%. Approximately half of that with a number one ranking will be coming through to your site. So obviously having a number one ranking for this particular keyword would be fantastic because you'd get approximately 45,000 visitors a month to your site. Now, really, any site, regardless of how well it's optimized or how poorly it's optimized, certainly for conversions, if you're getting 40,500 visitors to your site, you will make some money, regardless of how poor a job you do on, monetizing your site. Now, the only problem, obviously, is this keyword here, 90,500 searches. Being a two-word phrase as well, it's very likely that the competition for this particular keyword is going to be very, very fierce. Now, the easiest and quickest way to get an idea of a competition is simply to click this button here where it says Get SOC. I'm just going to click that now. The other indicator here is this column here where it says exact phrase count. I'm going to get that back as well. But this column here, SOC, this is what I personally always go by. Yeah. Now, this number here, as you can see, it says 1.12 million. Is basically an indicator of competition. Now, seriously, this keyword here is seriously competitive. I mean, even I myself, with all of my tools I have, and the link building tools, I can get links from well over 10,000 different IP addresses. Now, even I myself, with my experience, I wouldn't even dream of going for a keyword like this. Not to say that I couldn't get to number one for it. Oh yeah, I could. Yeah, but it's not going to be easy. Something like this, to get to number one for this particular keyword, it's going to take a hell of a lot of work and a hell of a lot of links. It's not something that you can do in 3 months. This project would take ideally a year, 12 months of my life to try and achieve number one ranking for this particular keyword. So to say it's a challenge is really an understatement, if anything else. Now, when you are obviously doing your keyword research, there's different ways you go about it. Some people actually like to go for the big numbers here in terms of the local searches, and they try and pick out big numbers with lower amounts of competition. Which is fair enough, which is a relatively nice strategy to do. What I like to do though, I like to start at the bottom and find the keywords that don't have any competition, but also don't necessarily have such a high search count. Okay, so in order to find the keywords which have less competition than this, ideally what you want to try and do is identify keyword phrases that are at least 3 words or 4 words in length. Now, in order to do that, what I like to do initially is, if this is a particular niche that I'm interested in, then I will further research this keyword. So far, I've only researched the keyword furniture, which is a 1-word phrase. And the next step I'm going to do, I'm going to reanalyze this now. What's called a narrow dig. Now, this is actually analyzing a 2-word phrase. So in theory, the results that it's going to bring back to me now, they're all going to be slightly longer word phrases, simply because the initial search was for a 2-word phrase. So anything it brings back now that's related to this will be at least 2 words in length, if not 3 or 4 words in length. So this is really what I refer to as the second layer of digging for your keyword. The more layers, or rather the more times that you dig and dig and dig, the more likely you are to find those gold nugget keywords, the ones where the competition is pretty much insignificant, but there's still sufficient search volumes there to warrant you building a website around that particular keyword. Okay, so this is nearly finished now. Just wait for this to retrieve results back. Okay, again, just going to sort this by search count. It's still showing the exact numbers as well. Right, so as I mentioned previously, this is the 2-word phrase that we researched. Now, if you have a quick scan down this list, the ones that you can see on the screen, hopefully there's 2 things you'll notice. Firstly, every keyword here has these 2 phrases in there: garden furniture, highlighted in dark blue. Every single one of them, which is simply how the software is designed to work, and also because I made sure that tick box was selected as well. Now, the other thing to notice is that these phrases, they're all at least 3 words long. All of them. If I scroll down, they're all 3 words long. Which in itself indicates that these are going to be lower competition keywords. Again, a very big generalization, but in theory, that's pretty much how it works. Now, what I could do from here, if I look at the local search counts, I can see that the top three are still pretty big markets. Even these ones here are pretty big markets. And ideally, what I'd then do is I'd go and research these markets and dig even further to see if there's any more related phrases to this. So these really should be treated as individual niche markets. So potentially you could set up a website around rattan garden furniture, or you could have maybe a sell site, which just all year round has sell products for garden furniture. So you can see there's different niches available. Even garden furniture covers, you could have one website solely built around covers for garden furniture. And obviously, if we further dug this niche, we'd then, let's do it. Let's just research the garden furniture covers niche. Now, this is the third layer now, if you like, because first I started with furniture, which is a one-word phrase. Then I researched garden furniture, which is a two-word phrase. Now I'm researching garden furniture covers, which is a three-word phrase, which means that any keywords that are retrieved now by the software, they're all going to be at least 3 words in length, if not 4-word phrases. And as I mentioned before at the beginning of the keyword research video, that generally speaking, the lower competition keywords, they tend to be longer in length, at least 3 to 4 words in length. And also, if you're watching, and kind of paying attention to what I'm doing and how I'm doing this, you'll also notice that. Sorry, let's just go back here again. Garden furniture tab. This is just one niche that I've chosen to research. You can research all of these further, every single one of these. But ideally, once it gets past 1,000, when you scan down here, you can see that if these markets themselves have only 800 searches a month, then it's very likely that any other keywords related to this keyword phrase, again, will have very low search volumes. So out of this entire list, personally, anything with 1,000 or higher exact match searches, I would re-research these markets even further to find related keywords to these phrases. Now, if we go back to the furniture covers tab, I've actually let this one go already, retrieving the SOCs. As you can see it from these initial keywords, that's the one which we initially searched, garden furniture covers. Now, these other keywords here, you can see the competition levels, they're all indicated with these green ticks, which basically means that these are all low competition keywords. And it's quite a big difference between the initial phrase up here, which is SOC of over 15,000, which is still quite fierce competition. Now, if I was going to use these keywords, certainly these bottom 4, with the SOC of green, these are the ones that will be very easy to get to number 1 for, simply by building a few, even a handful of links for each of these keywords. It will be very quick and easy to get to page 1 within a matter of weeks, and certainly a few weeks after that to achieve a number 1 ranking for all of these keywords. Now, obviously, the local search counts here aren't that great numbers, but the way I look at this is when you start adding up the actual search volumes for each individual keyword, they start to add up. And certainly, if you add these all together, it comes pretty close to sort of 700 searches a month, which in itself is actually not too bad. And the reason why I say this as well is because you need to remember that these figures here, these are all estimates. They're averages which Google provide. Now, certainly in my own experience, a lot of these keywords here, the data is really, really inaccurate. For example, how on earth can 2 keywords here have exactly the same search number as 110? Yeah, and you'll also notice if I go back to the other screen here, these local search numbers, again, they're all averages. Because again, there's no way that all of these numbers here, all of these keywords have exactly 880 searches each. It's just not true, because if this was bang up to the minute or up to the second data, then certainly these numbers would not all be ending in 0. There'd be 1s, 2s, and 3s, and so on and so forth. So remember that these figures here, these are all averages. Yeah, all of the information you see here, they're all averages. The global numbers, the ad cost numbers, these are all averages. Now, based on that, what I've found certainly is when I start getting my number one rankings for some of these keywords, and I have ranked quite a few which have very low search counts, within here are some real gold mines of keywords. And certainly if you have other data or other analysis data in place, such as AW stats, you'll be able to see that once you've got a number one ranking for one of these keywords, the other types of keywords that it then attracts to your site that other people are searching for. So although on the surface, statistically, these numbers seem really, really low, seriously, they're not. 110 exact max searches, in theory, means that you'll get 50% of those with a number one ranking. But in reality, it could go either way. It could be significantly higher, it could be significantly less. But with SEO, what happens is, as you start to build more links to your site, depending on the actual words that are used in your anchor text, your site itself will start to act as a magnet and start to attract other searches. For example, what I mean by that is, if you were going to build a page and put the main keyword phrase "garden furniture covers" in the page title, in the URL, and the H1 tag as well, then these other keywords here, which you'd be using in your anchor text, building links to your site, what will happen is you can see they all have garden furniture covers, those main three words, those three terms within the keyword here. But this particular phrase has the word square. This particular phrase has the word UK. This particular phrase has the word rattan. And obviously this phrase here, it's got the word extra, for in there. Now basically these extra words, as you build more and more links to your site, as you start to use a more diverse range of keyword phrases, each of these extra words, they start to build the profile of your site. So what will happen is, for example, if you're building lots of keywords that have a word UK, then your site is going to start to appear higher in the search engine results for other related keywords that also have UK in it. Likewise, as you build links to your site for this particular keyword here, because you have a word square, if there are other related phrases out there that also have a word square and garden, furniture and covers, then a combination of these words in your anchor text is also going to start attracting other searches from other users, and your website will start to appear and rank higher for other related keywords to these terms. So don't worry about these numbers being really, really low, seriously, because the other thing to add to all of this is these are actual phrases, very targeted phrases that people are searching for. So, someone typing in covers for garden furniture, they're expecting to find a page with covers for garden furniture on there. Now, obviously, if you rank number one for this keyword phrase, then you're going to automatically receive a significantly high conversion rate, simply because they're searching for covers for garden furniture. On your website, you'll have pages or a page with products, various sizes and colors for covers for garden furniture. So by pairing the two together, you won't have to worry so much about the higher search numbers, because it's really not that important. It's more important to get lower targeted traffic coming to your site which matches your offer than to get thousands and thousands of people who are basically not related searches to your actual product page. So for example, if you look at the example of garden furniture, someone typing in garden furniture, if they arrive at your page that's optimized for garden furniture covers, clearly someone who's typing in garden furniture isn't going to be making a purchase on your page which is advertising covers, simply because if they wanted garden furniture covers, they would have typed in garden furniture covers. Yeah. So hopefully that kind of explains in a little bit more detail why these keywords here with the lower search counts are actually the gold nugget keywords. Yeah, mainly because these search numbers are very inaccurate, very, very inaccurate. But unfortunately, as this data comes from Google, this is the best data that us SEOs have. There isn't anything better than Google's database. But just bear in mind that these figures here, you need to take them all with a pinch of salt. Yeah. Okay, so that's basically the this one particular market, furniture covers one, pretty much done. And I personally, this would be one page on my site. If I had a garden furniture site, I would make one page with this exact keyword in the page title and URL called garden furniture covers. what I would do, and then I would use all of these keyword phrases and build links for all of these keyword phrases. But what will happen is, as you start building links for these to that page for these keyword phrases, you're not going to get any traffic for this keyword phrase. And obviously that will be the nice one with 4,400 searches a month. But what will happen is, as you start building links for all of these keywords, the ones with lower SOC, those are the ones that you're going to start to get traffic from initially. Yeah. So what I like to do is I like to focus on these low competition keywords first to build up the traffic to my site and to get myself some #1 rankings, and to also start building authority for my site for these keyword phrases. Now, as you build these these anchor texts for these keywords, because they all have garden furniture covers in all of these keyword phrases, you're actually optimizing your site already for this phrase here. Simply because this exact phrase, garden furniture covers, exists within all of these phrases. So if all of your anchor texts have all of these 4 phrases, then you are in essence still building links for this exact same phrase. But what I do initially is focus on these 4 phrases first, building links for those. As I get to page 1 and then start getting close to #1, that's when I then start building more aggressively links for this particular phrase. And by doing it that way, when you start to build links for this particular phrase, garden furniture covers, you'll see that your rankings will actually jump a lot quicker and certainly get to page 1 a lot quicker, simply because your site's already been established for similar keyword phrases. Okay, so this is just one example. Now, what I then do is go back to garden furniture. And as I said, I've researched this one for garden furniture covers. Ideally, all of these ones that have 1,000 or higher, they need to be re-researched again. So let's start with one of these high ones. Let's do a rat and garden furniture. Let's do a narrow dig on that one. This one potentially could be a nice one, simply because there's quite a high volume of searches there, which in itself indicates that there should be quite a lot of 3-word and 4-word phrases related to this phrase. And hopefully, if we can find some low competition ones there, then that potentially could be our second page for this site. Garden and furniture covers being the first page, and we'll see if we can make a second page of our site based around rat and garden furniture. Okay, so that's now returned all the results there. So again, like before, first thing I do is sort out the column by local search count. And straight away you can see the top 2 here have got really high search volumes. Then after that it tends to dip off with slightly smaller search numbers, which is fine, it's not a problem there. So the next thing I'll do with all of these there, I'm just going to get rid of the ones that are below 100 here. Those are the ones that I tend to ignore. So let's get rid of everything below 100. Okay, so now all of these keywords that are left are 100 exact amount of searches a month. What I'm then going to do, I'm going to start getting the SOC on these. If I start at the bottom though, I'm just going to click a few of these manually. This is probably going to block my IP pretty quickly, simply because I'm now sending 3 multiple requests to Google from the same IP address. But as you can see, and kind of as predicted, these are 4. This is a 5-word phrase. There's 5 words in there. This is a 4-word phrase. Most of these are 4-word phrases actually. There's a 5-word phrase there. But you can see here, all of these are highlighted in green. Low competition. Okay, so I'm just going to send some more of these. There's a few ways of actually doing this. You could either click on all of them manually. This is probably the quick way of doing it. But it's also the quickest way of getting your IP blocked. The other way you could do it, you could simply queue all of these up and schedule it to basically find all these SOCs. But if you want to do all your keyword research there and then this is the way I suggest doing it. It's just clicking on all of them manually. Quite impressed actually. This is quite a lot of results that have come back with just the single IP from Hide My Ass. I would have expected it by now to have said my IP is blocked, but surprisingly it's not. The other great thing, which you can see here as well, is look how many of these are actually green. I mean, there's a few yellow ones in there, granted, but I believe that the SOC, the indicator, changes from green to yellow when it hits 50. So even this one at 54, it's still marginally close to being considered as low competition. Wow, See now, this is a good one. As you can see here, this is a forward phrase, Ratton Garden Furniture Sale. 4,400 exact match searches a month. And the SOC is showing as low competition with a number of 42. So for me right now, my eyes would be lighting up right now, because that is the kind of keyword you do want to find. High search numbers and high exact search numbers, balanced with low competition. If you can find lots of keywords like this, with local search count of 1,000 or more, with low competition, then really you're laughing. The next step from there is basically setting up your site and finding an offer or a product that matches this keyword phrase. This particular one is Ratton Garden Furniture Sale, which it looks like there aren't a lot of people out there who are trying to monetize off this keyword phrase. But certainly when you look at that keyword phrase and combine it with all of the others there, even some of these yellow ones I personally would integrate into my marketing campaigns. Personally, the way I would approach this one, the actual main phrase that I initially researched, Ratton Garden Furniture, you can see that the SOC is pretty competitive. Now, if I was willing to go into a long-term venture with this particular site, then yes, I could plan to try and achieve a #1 ranking for this particular keyword phrase, Ratton Garden Furniture. It certainly is worth the time, because this local search count is 22,000 a month. So, 50% of that with a #1 ranking, you're looking at about 10,000 people a month, exact match. This is hitting your site. So, that is worthwhile investing into. But obviously, this is very high competition. This isn't going to be something that will happen within a few months. To hit #1 for this keyword, you're looking at 6 months of aggressive link building, or really maybe a year's worth of more natural link building to try and establish yourself as in a #1 position for this keyword phrase. So the alternative to devoting a year of your life to SEO before seeing a penny of return is basically to go for the lower competition keywords here. There's loads here that are green, and any of these ones in green, any of them, you can get to #1 for very easily and very quickly. Certainly getting to page 1 for any of the keywords highlighted in green. Page 1 can be achieved in a matter of weeks of building even a handful of links and indexing those links. Will get you to page 1 quite easily. That is simply what this low competition means. But obviously, if I sort this SOC column out by in order of number, personally, this is where I would start. The first link that I'd even think of building is for this one, simply because the SOC is 0. That means that there is no competition for this keyword. Simply means that if I had a page about Ratton Garden Furniture and I built a link for this exact keyword phrase, and the page where that link was, I then got that page indexed, then my website or web page that optimized for this keyword phrase, it would shoot to #1 in Google. It would. Simply because there is no other competition for that particular keyword phrase. And this is what you're looking for when you're doing your keyword research. You want to find lots of keywords that have green SOC. You want to start your link building campaigns with the ones that are 0. The more competitive ones, you'll then start increasing your link building campaigns for these more competitive ones. And then as time goes on, you'll then start to try and target some of these more competitive ones here. The reason why I do it in this order is because simply because these ones are easier and quicker to get to #1 for. So while I'm doing my work on my website and planning my off-page SEO campaigns, I'll be achieving #1 rankings for these keywords pretty much within a week. And I'll be getting traffic to my site as well. So that will then generate a source of revenue from my website whilst I'm still working on these other keywords that's slightly higher competition. And then literally within a matter of weeks, again, these keywords then will hit page 1, #1 a few weeks after that, as I become more aggressive in my off-page SEO link building campaigns. So to do it in this order, starting with your lower competition keywords first, the ones with lower SOC, and aiming to achieve #1 ranks of those, is basically going to create a source of revenue for your website. So while you're potentially planning to achieve a #1 ranking for this very competitive keyword, well, you're going to be getting traffic every day because you're already going to be #1 for these keywords up here. So hopefully that strategy makes more sense in terms of how you can still go for a very competitive keyword. Fair enough, this one it could take 6 months to a year to get to number one for. But during those 6 months, you're going to be achieving number one rankings for all of these keywords. So every month, you're going to have a stream of income coming from the same website. And as you build more and more links for all of these different keyword phrases, you can see every single one of these keyword phrases has this keyword in there: rattan, garden, furniture. So when you initially start your marketing campaigns for this particular page, you start building links for all of these keywords. But as all of these different links become indexed within Google search engine, Google will then start to identify your page as being relevant and having an authority on cheapest rattan garden furniture, or rattan garden furniture clearance sale. So that in itself, it's going to start creating authority and trust for your website to start ranking for this free keyword phrase, rattan garden furniture. So once you've started to build links for all of these other keywords and got those links indexed, that's when you can then start your marketing campaign for this particular keyword. That's just how I like to do it. You could potentially launch your marketing campaigns for all of these keywords all at once. But what you'll find is that your position, your ranking for this keyword, it's not going to change. You'll be lucky if you even hit the top 100. Certainly with a brand new website, you need to build authority, and you need to show Google what your website is about, and that's all about building links. So personally, I go for this strategy where I start with the longer tail keyword phrases, the ones with lower competition, achieve the number one rankings for those, get those links indexed, and then start working your way down this list here. Now, there's a lot of keywords here, and if I sort these out by a search count, obviously if we ignore the top one, because that's not realistic to get to number one within a few months, but certainly all of these other keywords, they're all very realistic to get to number one within a few months. Yes, very realistic. But if you add up all of these numbers, I would design one page for all of these keywords. I wouldn't break these down into separate niches. Personally, I would have one website called Garden Furniture, and obviously I don't think gardenfurniture.co.uk is going to be available. So in that respect, I'd pick what one of my other biggest markets were. So I'd try and find rattangardenfurniture.co.uk or gardenfurniturecovers.co.uk. I'll try and find variations of my other target keywords within that domain name. And then the individual pages that I set up within that website, based on the research I've done so far, one page will be called Garden Furniture Covers. And this page would have the exact keyword phrase here as the page title in the URL. I would then build links for these other keywords here initially. Like I said before, starting with the keywords which have the lower SOC. So this would be the first keyword that I build a link for, and I'll work my way down the list trying to get each of these to number one. And by doing this and building links for these first four keywords in the list, you're going to automatically be building links for the main target keyword phrase anyway. Yeah. So this will all be happening within one page of my website. The second page of my website would then be called Rattan Garden Furniture. And I'd ensure that this exact keyword phrase was in the URL of that page, the page title of the page, and as a H1 or a heading tag of that page. Then in terms of my off-page SEO strategy, I would focus on all of these keywords. Let's just sort this again by SOC. I would start with the keywords that have the lowest SOC, starting at 0, and then simply work my way down, building separate marketing campaigns for each of these keywords, for these exact phrase keywords. Obviously, I've not done any filtering here. I've kind of skipped that step. But normally, if there's words or phrases in here that's not relevant to my site, then clearly you want to remove them from the list, and you don't want to waste your time and money building links to these keywords. But really, the purpose of this video is to show you how to find these low competition keywords. And the process is simply a simple process of digging. If you remember when I started the video, I started with one word phrase, furniture. Then I started to pick at my 2-word phrases, the garden furniture. And then I started to pick at my 3-word phrases. And the further you research, the more likely that you'll find these other goldmine keywords. Okay, there's one other thing which you can do here as well. As I mentioned, there's this keyword here, rattan garden furniture sale. Now, this is a 4-word phrase. Now, ideally, you could go and do a narrow dig and repeat the process again. In fact, you can do that for all of these keywords if you wanted to. And what that will do, that will then enable you to find more keywords with low competition that will be related to each of these keyword phrases. And they all would have their own exact search numbers. So this is how you can then start building your site with more keywords and start attracting more customers, purely because they'll be typing in slightly different search key phrases.